All right, this is Robin the Gem Stitcher, and you know, I've been working so hard on the biscornus and trying to get them backstitched, and I finally got all the backstitching done. I could have finished it last night if I stayed up. Whoops, I did stay up too late. Hold on, just dropped something on the floor. Don't want the cats to get. Okay, so yeah, so finally got all the backstitching, and there is more of a border there. That's just where things are folded. So anyway, front, bottom, or top, bottom, and I was planning to do yeah, it wouldn't be in there. I've got like half of this fabric once I cut the other pieces off of it, which I will do this weekend when I get to the finishing class, because that's a quilt shop and they'll have some nice fabric scissors, because I don't have any good sharp fabric scissors. So anyway, got my email from the shop today and got everything situated. I think I may need to buy some polyfill. They're providing wool roving, but I'm allergic to wool, and you know, I'm gonna probably wear a mask to protect myself, and you know, just from stuff in the air. And then and of course I will have my inhaler next to me in my purse, and you know, I don't think I'll need to take any extra meds for that. But I mean, I'm not super allergic to wool. It's just if I sleep with a wool blanket, I can't really breathe in the morning. So actually, and at my mother-in-law's house, she has a bunch of wool throws. I was cold during a holiday this year, and I've put one over me, and I realized, oh wait a minute, I'm having problems breathing. I better like get my coat, put this away and get my coat, which was what I did. But anyway, so you've seen this. I have been stitching on this, like with the back stitching all the time. So that's kind of made my whips not very impressive. But I have stitched on a few other things, and I'm gonna stitch tonight when I finish filming this stuff. So anyway, so I have been stitching on. I can get the right thing out. I have this in the bag a certain way so that I don't give away any of the pattern. So the snuggle is real, and still working on the slipper. That's the heel of the slipper. So I've put in a few more colors and a little bit across, but mainly just, you know, going upward on this heel. This is something that I do, that I don't spend as much time as I'd like to on it. And of course, because I have the biscornu I've been working on, that's been the priority, because I wanted to make sure that everything was done and ready, because when we get into the class, we're going to start putting it together and, you know, doing the back stitching and doing the other stuff. So, or I mean, doing the, is it a whip stitch or a, yeah, I'm not a sewist. I don't know the names for some of these things, but anyway, the stitch that you do, that where you're stitching the two back stitched borders together. I know what to do, I just don't know what it's called. So anyway, so that's the whip with the least amount of progress. And so the other thing I stitch on when I'm watching TV and I want to continue to stitch a little bit is I've been working on the acorn gathering of acorns by Fox and Rabbit. This is on an Ada, which looks really bleached out in this light, but it's really a bit, you know, like a beige neutral. And it's, even though it's Ada, it's not that light. It's not too dark, but it, you know, I've seen other neutrals that have been a lot lighter than this one. But anyway, so I have I have one more window and the bottom row above it that I need to put the glass panes in. Maybe that's something I could do tonight. Watch TV, and it's getting late, so, but I still would like to kind of sit in my recliner and watch TV. So, and then the roof, you can see that you can see the peak, and I believe that is the final row of the roof. So then once and I still got to work on the foundation, which will be not too much or too hard, but then it comes into the acorns and the vines, and so that'll be trickier to do when I'm watching TV. So, all right. So I was glad to make some progress on that. I think the windows might have been done the last time I showed it to you, at least as much as they are still, because I've just been working on the roof, because it's like, okay, you know. So, all right, and then the thing that I've been working on when I'm doing cross stitch instead of back stitching is I've been working on, oops, let me get out the pattern, Lindy Stitch's Japanese Bantam, which is a Christmas gift for my great niece. And so the tail of the rooster is coming along. So I did a lot more black on it this last week, and I put in a bit more, I think it's Mountain Mist, is this sort of turquoise jade green. And so that's coming along, and I'm gonna really focus on it for the next month or so. So Pinwis is next month, coming up fast. It's, gosh, in a month plus 1 day, because today is the 11th. And it starts, Pinwis is September 12th through the 14th. So anyway, I want to get a lot of this Japanese Bantam done before I go to Pinwis, and then work on bibs at Pinwis, because bibs will be kind of easier. Although it depends, because I'm really putting a lot of effort into modifying the pattern for one of the bibs. So that's one of those where I kind of have to think about, okay, how is this going to be blocked? How much of this am I going to shorten it to fit on the space of the bib? So it really is kind of like a bit of creative math. So, all right, and then the I had this piece last time, and I don't believe I showed it because it's going to somebody, and I didn't want to put it on the channel. But anyway, this was Winter Blessings, and so lovely fabric on the back, a little rickrack on the side, a little reindeer charm right there with a bit of ribbon. So and you can see the border. And so this was finished by Curated Acorns and Threads, their finisher. And what I had told her was I would really like a red that matches the cayenne around the edge, and then a very small, kind of a floral like print, which this is like little berries or cranberries maybe. Not sure, but little red berries. So anyway, so I thought I took some pictures of this. I'm not sure I liked any of the pictures, but at least I have a picture or two or 5 for my archive of things I've finished. And so another thing that I worked on for finishing in the time since my last Flosstube is the Smalls Exchange for Pinwis comes with a wooden support, a backing thing, and a friend of mine did it, and because we use laser cut pieces of wood, the laser cut makes like a burned edge. And so when she painted hers white, it turned out to be eggshell because the burned part bled into the white, so it was not a pure white. And I want this to be pure white. So my friend said, yeah, what I should have done is sanded the edges. So I went to the makerspace at Tualatin Library, and I spent 2.5 hours or so like going crazy with the sandpaper and not getting too far, but and just on one of the birdhouse things. I've got two because I wanted to do one for the exchange, and then I really liked it, so I was going to make it for myself probably next year or the year after. Next year, though, it's a quick piece, so if I can get the finishing, if I can get the stand part finished, then, you know, and get two of them done, one for me and one for the person at Pinwist, it's, you know, it's gonna be, the stitch itself took me like a month to stitch the whole thing. And then it took me like a couple days, you know, maybe like 2 or 3 days of not like a lot of stitching, but to stitch another little stitched part that goes with it. So anyway, so behind the scenes I am doing some finishing stuff, which I'd rather pay somebody to do the finishing. It's not something that gives me joy. I have friends that finish things that they do, and they really like it, and their stuff is great and it's beautiful, and I tell them so because it's like, oh my gosh, you have so much talent that I don't have or don't really want to develop. I'd rather just say, here's some cash, can you please do it? And so I'm gonna open this bag just because I have some stuff for I've shown the whips, I've talked a little bit about plans and some things going on behind the scenes, but what I have a lot of, I have the Fabric of the Month pairing, and I also have some curated cross stitch collection. So I kind of put this out here because I worry that the kitties will decide to come, and there's no space. There's just like this much space between the edge of the table and the camera, and so if they come up here, it's gonna be tricky and tight, and they're gonna walk all over the stuff. But I think they're hanging out with my spouse in the other room. So anyway, this is Mystic Fabrics, Fabric of the Month. I know some people say don't look, so I'm gonna say what it is, so it will give it away. It's matcha, which is this light green, kind of yellowy green, not that yellowy, and it's got some modeling, but it doesn't look like it's a lot of modeling. I've taken it out of the package, I think, one time, but I didn't really like open it up to see how much modeling it is, but it doesn't look that much. I know some people get kind of, I don't know, modeling that, you know, maybe they would just rather stitch on beige, you know, or they've never met a shade of beige that they didn't like. And I mean, and I have a friend that she does a lot of sampler stitching. She stitches on stuff that's super neutral, and she showed me a piece of fabric from Tabby Cat that's based on Scottish Highlands Lollybroch. Okay, I'm going to say a little bit more of the Scottish inflection there, being a Scots. And so, but this is based on some made up mansion grounds of a Scottish lord who is in, what is it called, the Outlander. I don't watch this show. I haven't read the book. Maybe I'll read the books, but it's not on something it's not on a platform I stream, so I have not seen it. I do have the actors who did the series do a wonderful whiskey and travel tour of Scotland, and I have the audiobook and the physical book. Okay, that's someday I'm gonna indulge on that. And you know, I'm not a big whiskey fan, although the more you drink, the more scotch starts to taste really good. So I do like stout, you know, and I like it cellar temperature, not cold, because you don't get the flavors if it's so cold. Okay, and I do like I do like bourbon a little bit if I can mix it with stuff. So, you know, maybe I will get my bourbon and cherry Coke and drink that when I listen to this audiobook. I'm not a big drinker, so this would be like planning this, because I don't want my blood sugar to go crazy and I don't want to impair myself for work. So, you know, it's not something that, you know, maybe it'll even be like I'll wait till I retire in 8 years to do this. I don't know. But anyway, so my friend says, look at this fabric. And I'm like, oh, it's gorgeous, because it's modeled with green and brown, this tabby cat fabric. And so with the tariffs, I've kind of been buying from foreign vendors. Okay, I support my shop and I've spent plenty of money there, but I bought tabby cat linen of this Lallybroch stuff. Gorgeous. I thought about buying it from Hobby House. Hobby House says that it's that subdued, and I'm like, whatever I get, I don't get subdued. Okay, that's not what I like. So she was saying just get it from Tabby Cat in France. So I put my order in, and I put my order in for Temptation, which is a Roxy Flosco fabric for the Cherry Magpie. I wasn't going to get that pattern, but I've ordered it through my local shop because I saw the Blueberry J for the network. It's not a network. It's maybe it is. It's the online wholesale marketplace releases in August, and I was like, damn it, I want to stitch the Blueberry J, but I love the Cherry Magpie. I always wanted to do it, but I thought, no, it's a lot of stitching. You know, you need to slow down buying patterns. You know, you get all these big things. You're gonna be stitching for 30 years, but there's a limit to how much you're gonna get done in 30 years. So I did order both of those patterns, and I did order malachite through my shop, and then I went to Evertote and got an order of Temptation, which is a substitute for the Fox and Rabbit beetroot, because that's been hard to get or impossible to get. So so those are things I've shopped for and am waiting for. I also got some Cottage Garden Threads, the Chaos Pack, if it's still in stock. By the time I ordered it, I wasn't sure. And then there was a Pigeon and Puddle floss pack, and I have Pigeon and Puddle by the Blue Flower. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get those. So hopefully all those things I ordered before August 10th, or I think August 10th was the last day I ordered something. So hopefully they'll come before the end of the month, before prices go through the roof. And, you know, somebody was saying all of our flosses and all of our fabrics come from other countries and that aren't here. And so I'm thinking, well, I got plenty of floss. I do have plenty of fabric. And so anyway, the fabric I got last week, matcha, I was at the shop, and there was a woman who did, she was stitching, is it Amazing Birds? It's one of the Lola Crow sales this year. I got it too, because I was just like, okay, it's amazing. So, and so I haven't started it. It could be years before I start. I've got too many other sales of hers, and and cells of other people's that are kind of like in the queue ahead of that. But this woman was stitching it on a beautiful light purple with some modeling, and what she said is she loves color, and she matches the fabric to the pattern based on what color does the pattern not have. And she said the only purple in this entire sal that she had been stitching so far, and most of it has come out by now. They just released 11 like this weekend, so I downloaded it. So she said the only floss that it didn't have, or the only color it didn't have, they had a very deep purple, but they didn't have anything else that was close to purple. So she picked purple to do the fabric on, and those colors of those birds are just popping off the fabric. It was just beautiful. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, I got a lot of this kind of green in my stash, and I got several things that I'm going to stitch on this kind of something like this color green. And so I thought, well, what patterns do I have that are not like those? And so one pattern I have is this one. It does have some like greens that are almost like a green blue. Yeah, so like jaded and you'll be pine, which is more of a pine green, and then deep woods, which I haven't seen. Those are Roxy Flosco's, and she has DMC courtesy or DMC conversions, because I'm probably not going to get Roxy Flosco's. I usually try to get I have access to Weeks, I have access to Creative Colorworks and Gentle Arts, but I don't really have access to Roxy Flosco unless I go online. And so anyway, so this one I thought, well, it doesn't really have a lot of green, and it certainly doesn't have a lot of this lighter yellow green. So this was a possibility. And I've got a bunch of her patterns, but I haven't stitched any yet. And then I thought of my friend Linda, who likes squirrels, and I had bought this to stitch for her. And I looked at it and I'm like, there is no green on this pattern. There is black and brown and reddish brown and kind of tans. So I think it'll go on this, and these colors will pop on this fabric, because this fabric is nothing like these, and hopefully it'll complement it. So this weekend, it's been months since my spouse and I got to visit my friend Linda. She doesn't live that far from us, but it's not easy to get to her house from, usually I'm going that way instead of that way when I go to the Portland area. And so, and unfortunately, she doesn't have good parking around her place. Where she used to live, she had great parking, so it was super easy to visit. Now, in Portland, it's hard. If you don't know where to park, it's hard. So, anyway, so we went there, and we took her out had a great lunch together, great talk, talking and catching up, and we go back to her place and we watched a movie. And so she's got her streaming things, and she pulls up YouTube, and she says, well, I've watched you. And I'm like, what? Because she sews, and she's probably done some other crafts in her life, but she doesn't stitch. And so she's like, well, yeah, to keep up on what you're doing. I'm like, oh gosh. So we went through her YouTube on her TV and subscribed her. But it was okay, because she thought she was subscribed already, and we went into the YouTube interface and was like, no, you're not subscribed. Click that button. So anyway, this is for This is Friendship Series Stashing Squirrels. So, and that's my fabric of the month pairing for Mystic Fabric Matcha. All right, so the rest of what I have is, oh, and the other thing I thought about matching this up with, because I really need to start this. A bunch of people I know are stitching this as a stitch along with Acorns and Threads, is Heartstring Samplery Ode to Libraries. And so this actually has some green in it, but again, it doesn't really have anything or very little that's sort of that yellowy green. So I thought about it. I thought about maybe I could change some threads, but then I just was like, no, you need to stitch squirrels. So, like I say, I pulled out several patterns and played around with them. So the only pattern that I've purchased in this month, and really I can't think of too many patterns. I did get some patterns last month, but some of them were like from friends, so they weren't really purchased. They were just things my friends were destashing. So I got Henny Penny. I have not done an animal cracker yet. So anyway, I thought, what if this is next year's Christmas present for my great niece who likes chickens? So it's a thought. All right, and then looking at the time, I did buy some fabrics. I bought some more Double Diamond, which was Fabric of the Month Club in June from Mystic Fabric, and but I just liked it so much and felt like I could stitch a bunch of things on it as a neutral, and so I bought some more. And then when I went to the store and used my coupon for August, which was like a draw a poker chip and get whatever amount was on it, and 20% off is the lowest amount you can win, and that's what I draw, and that's what I've drawn it a lot of times in the past. So I did get some fabrics. Now, we had our first Tuesday of the month Zoom last week, and Janine showed bunches of fabrics, and it was kind of funny because a bunch of these fabrics I saw in June, and I purchased them in June because, oops, trying to get little bits of the fabric that have fallen onto me. So, you know, there were a few things in the store that I thought, oh, you know, I'd rather get something else, because I'd already bought some of the other Many Didana fabrics, and some of the others I'd looked at, and so, you know, I didn't want to buy more of something I just bought, but I did buy 3 things that I know that I'm gonna, 2 things I know I'm gonna use for things that I know I'm gonna stitch. And then one thing that I've had that's been calling to me for a year, this is Watermelon by Weeks Linen. And it's just this beautiful light red, and it's 32 count linen. And so, you know, it's like that, it's like the prank, you know, that picture this plus, anyway, the prank fabric that it's an orange that I showed last time, and how that had been calling to me for a year or more, and it wasn't because I needed more, it wasn't because it was orange and I like orange fabric, which is true, but it was because I really did need more of it for more patterns than I had expected. So then I also got, this is another Mani Didana. This is Winter Sea, and it's a beautiful sea blue, you know, sort of sea blue, and you know, it's got some modeling, but I'm not seeing, you know, I'm not seeing too much modeling. I think there's more modeling around maybe the edges. And so I have a number of nautical patterns, and so this may go for have a couple like nautical Quaker kind of things. So this may go for that or may not. Depends on, I'll have to look at it. And that's also when I had gotten, there was another ocean themed fabric from this dyer, and so when I bought that, I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna go for this like summer Quaker or whatever, which is an ocean pattern. So, but like I say, I have a couple ocean patterns that need fabric. And then this is Charlotte's Pink. It's Weeks Linen again, and you know, and it's kind of mottled. It's hard to see in this light. I've got my side lamp on, so it's kind of washing things out. But it's, you know, it's pink and it's a little darker than what you're seeing here, and a little bit of modeling. So I had just kitted up like another pink that I have, and so I thought, well, I can get some more pink for the stash, because I'll find some other things to stitch it. And then after Midsummer Stitch, I don't believe I showed these because I think they didn't arrive until after I had my last Flosstube. So I apologize if you've seen this before, but I watched Stitchman Darcy and Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery, their duo Flosstube presentation, and I have not watched Jacob because I'm not a big sampler stitcher person, and so even though I admire his work and respect him, the pieces don't always speak to me because they're not things, you know, I do like some samplers, but he just hasn't done anything that is called to me yet. Not that he can't or won't, you know, he's a great designer and he's been doing this a long time, and I certainly haven't seen everything he's done. So, but anyway, Stitchman Darcy I'm afraid I was going to need to take a sip. He has an Etsy shop, and he just recently went full-time into his cross-stitch business. And so there's a lot of things that are like related to Hollywood. There was even a Trek pattern, which I think I might have shown, or it's still over there. And so I bought 2 pieces of Ada that he hand dyed. One is Clockwork Orange from the movie. I've read the book. I'm not sure how I'm going to see the movie. And A History of Violets, which is really pretty. Sorry, you can kind of see the modeling through there. I know there's some glare from the plastic, but anyway. So, lovely colors. And so I think that is it. And I think the next YouTube I do, like I say, I'm probably going to do a short about finishing. That'll be an extra piece sometime between this weekend and next week. But the next main Flosstube that I do, I think I'll be focusing on pinwhists, like what I'm taking and how I'm preparing. I won't have anything cool like the pink stitching purse like I previewed last year, but you know, and I've thought about a retreat gift that maybe I could do, but yeah, my 2 friends who actually do this stuff were like, well, you better get busy with that, Robin. So I don't know. I may run out of time. This is just, it's been a hard summer with my work, and, you know, and then doing all this finishing stuff besides the stitching, it's taken up a lot of time. And so I hope I can come up with something. But anyway, so that's it. And I will post this sometime this week. It is August 10th? Oh, August 11th. Yeah, Monday, August 11th. So, all right. Thank you very much. And like, comment, subscribe, and I hit over 100 subscribers a week or 2 weeks ago. So I'd like to see more, but I'm happy you're here, whether you subscribe or not. Thank you. Oop, oh, Max. Come on, Max. Oh, you're gonna slide on that, buddy. Hey. Okay, whoops. There's my Max. Oh, you see his tail end. He's getting a snack. Thanks. Bye. Okay. Yes, my Max. My Maximilian. Try to twist my camera to show my good boy. Okay. Getting a glare there. Oh, you're my good boy. You're my good boy. Yes, you're a good boy. Okay, whoops. Let's not show YouTube your butt.
Did you